welcome back to my channel. This week I will be building on a series that I'm starting on body types. So I have an introductory video that I did last week, and if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend that you go check that out. It's going to help you understand a little bit more what I'm talking about this week. So this week what we're going to discuss is the dramatic body type. I decided to dedicate 1 week to each body type, that way I can kind of thoroughly go over the different elements of the body types and what styles are going to look really great with those types. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I think all of these types are amazing. One thing I love about this body type system is that I feel like it really brings out the strengths of each type, and I read through all of them and I think they're all amazing. So the dramatic body type is definitely the most yang out of the 5 body types. And to just recap really quickly, this body type system is based off of the concept of yin and yang, with yang being the more masculine body type and yin being the more feminine body types. Now this can apply to either male or female individuals, but just for the sake of the videos being more easy to understand, I will be focusing more on the female side of these body types. But if you're a guy, these could totally apply to you in one way or another as well. So dramatic people's bone structure is definitely very, very angular. It's going to have lots of sharp edges, lots of angular features. Their feet and hands are going to tend to be kind of long and narrow. They're going to have some very prominent facial bones, like cheekbones or brow bones. They're going to tend to have more square shoulders. They're typically going to have a more sleek bone structure. Now, the soft dramatic, which if you remember in last week's video, I talked about how there were kind of like subcategories of each of these body types. And because the dramatic is the most yang that you can get, this body type only has one subcategory, and that is the soft dramatic. So the soft dramatic is basically a dramatic person who has a little bit of a yin undercurrent in their body type. So they might have a lot of the features that a typical dramatic person might have, but they're going to have a little bit more of the softness to their body that a stereotypical dramatic person won't have. So a soft dramatic person's bone structure is also going to be very sleek and very angular, but they might tend to have a little bit larger bone structure than a typical dramatic person might have. Dramatic types and soft dramatic types are typically going to be around the moderate to tall heights. So probably around like 5'5", I want to say, for females and on up. Their bodies are going to be very straight, very angular, not much curves. They're just very like straight up and down. They're going to have a lot more sleek musculature, and they're also going to tend to be more narrow in width. Their waists are going to be narrower, although they're not going to have much curve to their waist. It's just going to be narrow because their whole body is going to be typically narrower. Now the soft dramatics are going to have a lot of these similar features, but they are going to have a little bit more of the fleshiness, if you want to say, kind of more in the like upper arm area, the thigh, the waist, or the bust area. It's going to just be a little bit softer, a little bit more curved than a typical dramatic person would have. So a dramatic person's facial features are also going to be very sharp and very angular. Think of the prominent facial bones that I mentioned earlier. So this is going to mean very, very sharp cheekbones, sharp jaw lines, brow bones, and nose. Just very bold, sleek, and strong features. They're going to typically have narrower eyes, more like maybe almond-shaped eyes. They're usually not going to have very big or round eyes, and their mouths typically are narrow. Now the soft dramatics facial features again are similar, but they're going to have a little bit more of the yin to their facial features. They're going to have larger eyes, more round cheeks, and more full lips than a dramatic person would have. The dramatics are people who are the supermodels or like the runway models of the world. They're often very exotic looking. Their facial features are just, you know, like just very exquisite, very sharp. And so these people often have a very edgy feel to them, and that is probably one of the biggest keywords when it comes to a dramatic body type is edgy. Some other words that come to mind when I think of the dramatic body type or the soft dramatic body type would be like theatrical or bold or striking, extreme. Now these are all kind of words to keep in mind whenever you're looking at clothing to fit your body type, because dramatics are really going to look great in those super edgy pieces that a lot of people aren't able to get away with because their body carries that edgy energy to it. As a dramatic person, you can get away with the super bold prints or the really bold colors. So you can also get away with an interesting cut of clothing that a lot of people would be able to wear. You can do really, you know, sleek silhouettes. You can do really bold accessories. And also, whenever you're thinking about these prints and these cuts, think of sleekness, think of sharp edges, think of like angular sort of patterns. Try to stay away from stuff that's like super rounded or really small prints. Definitely, I would suggest going more towards like bold and big prints that are more angular. And if you do want to do like a floral or something like that, choose something that's bold or edgy or fun and not necessarily like super delicate or soft. So some things to stay away from would be really overly feminine things. I would definitely not recommend like ruffles, lace, bows, frilly things. These can just look almost silly on a dramatic body type because it is just so edgy and so basically dramatic, as the name suggests. If you want to go for a more feminine look as a dramatic body type person, then I would suggest going for the more bohemian type style of clothing. The really flowy maxi dresses, really flowy tops that are longer are going to look really great on your, you know, narrow form. They're going to add some softness to your frame that might help balance out some of the angular features if you want to tone down a little bit of that edginess. And those are just some tips and tricks and things to think about if you fall into this category as a dramatic person. You can get away with some of the most unique and original clothing. So take advantage of that and just have fun with it. Have fun being your edgy, creative self. These are totally all just suggestions. This isn't to say that you can't wear one thing or you can wear another, or you should wear this or you should wear that, because really fashion is about having fun and about expressing yourself. These are just simply suggestions about what's going to look great on you because of the style, personality that your body gives off. So that's it for this week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for next week because I will be going over another body type for you guys. I hope you all have a really great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.